this video, it's going to be a little bit of a chill video slash stream because I am streaming. But for right now, what I decided to do is, if I'm recording a video on, or if I'm making a video on my PC, if I'm making a video on my PC, then I'll add my intro. If it's if it's based off of a game on my PC that I'm recording, then I add my usual intro. If it's off of like my PlayStation console, then I won't be adding an intro. It's just going to be like kind of these short live streams, I guess, to put it. But like I said, it's going to be short, so like a few minutes tops. So today's video, I guess you could call it, I know I called it a video in the description. In the description I called it a video, though when I typed it out, but it's still the same thing, though. It's still the same thing. But anyway, that being said, I am gonna be showing. So today I am using Akuma, and I'm using Akuma in Tekken 7, and I am gonna be trying to come up with many combos as I can, or combo extenders as I can, using sample combo number 9 with a pad, or with an analog stick, I should say. So, and starting with this moveset. Starting with that. So far some of the extenders or enders I can come up with is this. Hold on, messed up. Hold on. Why am I keep on messing that one up? There we go. That was actually one, like, I would say ender that I can come up with for sample combo number 9, because like normally I have no problem doing Akuma's combos if I'm using my fight stick or if I'm using the D-pad, but today's video I'm only going to be using the analog stick to see if I can extend as much combos with only sample combo number 9 as much as possible. And then I'm also going to be moving on to sample combo number 5, see if I can extend as much combos with that. And yeah, let's just see how far I can get it to. Oops. So to do this combo, for the control setup, what I usually have set to, since if you're using an analog stick or if you're using a pad, but you're not using a D-pad, but you may want to use the analog stick if you want. It's a lot challenging to do on a analog stick, though, because for certain characters like Akuma, because he's ported from Street Fighter into Tekken. So a lot of his moves, or the majority of his moves, is quarter circles or slash specials. So what works for me is I have LP and RP to left punch and right punch to R1, left kick and right kick to R2, and then for L1 and L2 I set it to wherever random. So, and then for my rage art I set it to L3. And for the charge move I set it to R3. So if I'm doing, like, let's say a combo like I just like I did a few minutes ago, which is this. Hold on. Or closer to that. I can extend it and set. I can extend that set combo with my rage art. So you can also the one tough thing I do have to say is doing Akuma's like down forward like Z motion plus punch. So I can do his EX kind of easy because I had said like left punch and right punch together to R1. So when I do the dragon punch motion, all I have to press is R1, and it makes it so much simpler than having to like have my hand in a claw motion. So or hold the controller in the claw motion and then press both square and triangle at the same time. So if I were to do sample combo number 9 again, but like replace rage art with the dragon punch or with the shoryuken, it would be something like this. Hold on. Dang it. Sometimes, the thing about sample combo number 9, the reason why I call this a challenge, because it's a challenge for me because I'm using the analog stick instead of using the D-pad or fight stick. So, and if you're trying to attempt the same challenge as well, it would help if you're closer to your enemy, though. There we go. That's what, like, if you input the shoryuken, though, with, like, with the majority of the combo strings from sample combo number 9, but just replace the ender, that's what you should get. I would not recommend trying this combo out in the actual match, because for one thing, you have to watch over your super meter, for one thing, and two, it's not really practical. And like, what if you riff the first string or like the Hadoken? Then you'll be punishable, though. Like, your opponent can punish you. So I would not recommend like using this move in a practical match, in an online match, or in any match. So I would call this like kind of an exhibition. This one, I do have to say, you can somewhat use. That one, I don't know why I immediately started doing that combo without even explaining what I did to like extend it. But I'll re-show it again. Hold on. Stop position. Hold on. So I feel like for certain stages, depending on the stage that you're playing on, you can extend combos, though, even further. So what I did a few minutes ago, before I restarted it, and before I even explained, is I took sample combo number 6, which, if we had to, like, rate the difficulty, it would be a 3-star. So, for any of you guys that are new to Tekken and don't know how the difficulties work in terms of combos, One star is like just really easy combos, like this. Hold on. Sometimes, yeah, the thing, but you get what I mean. Though, I was trying to get this in there, but every single time I dash, I keep on getting, like, Shoryuken. It's because I'm using the analog stick, but you get what I mean. 3 stars, 2 stars is like an immediate combo, though if you're new to the game. Or the in-games intermediate combo, and then the 3 star is what is the difficult part, is the difficult one. So, for example, if we go back to sample combo number 9, what makes it difficult though is the first part. Is the first 2 strings and then the 3rd string. What I mean by that is, you have to immediately cancel back left punch into Hadouken. Though, and then you cancel that into his EX version of this move. So the best way to do this move is you have to be really close to your opponent. So you get, I don't exactly know how this works exactly, but for certain moves, like sometimes if you're really close to your opponent, or depending on the distance that you're at, though, like, sometimes, like, if you just press forward or, like, double tap forward after bounding your enemy to the ground, it automatically dashes for you. So, like that. So, like that. Let's see. Now, this move, I can get the first 2 strings with no problem, but again, the Dragon Punch motion is the one that is more difficult to do on analog stick for me. At least for me. If you don't have that much of a trouble with the Dragon Punch motion on the analog stick, then good for you. But I'm more used to the D-pad and the arcade stick. So let's see if I can do the Dragon Punch motion. Nope. There we go. I think let's try buffering that in. Let's try. And this one thing I haven't tested out is if I can hold buffer the Tatsumaki though into like the Dragon Punch or the Dragon Punch motion. And for any of you guys that are new to fighting games, basically what a buffer is, every fighting game has a different buffer system. So for example, King of Fighters, at least I think all the way up to King of Fighters 14, because I think at least up to King of Fighters 14, though, there was a hold button buffer system where if you hold like an attack button for a certain amount of time and you and then you immediately press the next button or the next like attack string, if it's cancelable, sorry, can't speak today for some reason. You can cancel into a special move or into a next attack string. Or another thing that you can do, which I think most fighting games, except for like old style like Neo Geo old style like fighting games, you can motion buffer the inputs. So what I mean by that is if I want to do like, let's say, the EX version of Akuma's Tatsumaki, all I have to do is I do the quarter circle first, and then I press like X and circle, or for me it's R2 since I mapped both buttons to R2. So like that way it's a bit easier to do the motion, though, without having to immediately like press R2 as soon as the quarter circle motion happens. Which sometimes if you do that, you don't even get the move doesn't even come out at all, unless if it's by chance. Though older fighting games isn't as lenient, though, or doesn't have as much input saving as like most modern fighting games have. Though some modern fighting games have like that has so little input leniency, whatever. So moving on to the next list, I will be doing Lydia's. I would go back to doing Lydia's, next one up is Lydia, and see if I can extend some of her combos. Which, by the way, her combos though is really just, her combos is, I would say, intermediate to do in a real match. Though I would say if I have to rank the difficulty of mastering her character in let's say in a match against an AI or like another player, against the AI, though, I would put her at the easy difficulty, but in like an online match, though, where you're fighting against another player, it takes a lot of practice for most of her combos, except for her like 2-star sample combos. So yeah, I don't know why I can't get the I don't know why why the ender for sample combo number 2 I don't know why it causes me so much trouble with sample combo number 2. Like, I can do it on a arcade stick with no problem, though. But if I'm doing it like on a controller, especially the D-pad, getting that ender is a bit difficult. And what I mean by that ender is I mean the part where you have to like dash forward, though, just to do the ender. just so the ender can connect. Like, I can do the ender, though, but if it riffs, that's not a good thing in a practical match. So, this combo, you can riff. This combo you can riff, though. And here's one thing that you should know about Lydia's character, though. She does have a good amount of, well, I wouldn't really say a good amount, but she has, like, two just frame moves. The one that I did before I kind of like restarted, and for any of you guys that are new to the game or new to Tekken in general, what just frame moves are is they're like cancels in a way, or one frame links if you're from Street Fighter. They're like one frame links, though, in a way. If you're new to Tekken, but you came from Street Fighter, to put it simple, what just frames are is they're just simply one frame links, though. And it's really, I don't know, for me it's really rare to get. Though, because sometimes, especially with this character, I sometimes accidentally execute a just frame link with a move that, like, unintentionally with the, like, for example, with the X and triangle, like, sometimes I'll execute that, or execute that into one frame link by mistake, and sometimes whenever I do want to get like that said one frame link, sometimes it doesn't happen the way that I intentionally wanted to. I don't know if it's like the way that the character is set up, or just me, which I think is just me. Though I really think it's just me and my poor timing with a character. But if you guys have this character as well and having the same, if you guys have this character as well, please leave in the comments on if you're getting that said problem where you unintentionally doing just frame links, though, with a character when you don't want to, or not. So, like right now, I'm trying to do her. There we go. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm doing her just frame link, one of her just frame links by accident. Though, even like that time, I was actually trying to attempt to do just frame links to that combo, and I ended up doing it. But if I try to do it again, I'm not getting that blue spark or frame link. And for those that are completely new to fighting games, to explain what a just frame link is, or what a cancel is, basically most fighting games nowadays run at 60 FPS or frames per second. So, which means that you have your startup frame. Like if I were to do Lydia's up forward like back kick or circle, and as soon as I input the move, when you see her character jump up and do like a jump kick, though, that's already one frame, though. As soon as she starts moving, that's what a startup frame is. Ending, then you have your active frames, which your active frames are practically when that said move connects with your opponent, or connects with your opponent on block or on hit. So what I mean by that is, I mean, like if I were to do like Lydia's up forward 4, which is up forward circle in layman's terms, if it hits Kazuya like this, if it perfectly hits Kazuya or hits him at all, that's an active frame. That's an active frame. Or if I were to do that said move again and he blocks, so like let's say I do that said move again and he blocks, that's still an active frame. So as you can see on the bottom, as soon as he blocked the up forward circle, though, you can see that my frame advantage is -13. And what that means is that it means that while I'm recovering from that move, though, or as the character resets after doing that said move, I literally cannot move or attack. So think of it like if you ever played like a video game like Persona 5 or the new Yakuza game, though, you know how like the game is, you know how those games in terms of combat is more turn-based, meaning that you have to like wait for each other's like turn to be over, or how you have to wait for your opponent's turn to be over in order to move. Well, in most fighting games, though, it's somewhat similar to that in a way. It's somewhat similar to that, but more fast-paced. So, for example, if I were to do if I were to do a simple right punch, you notice that I don't get a minus frame for just doing a simple right punch. Now that while my opponent is on guard. Now, some moves don't have negative frames, though. And what I mean is, if you're doing a simple normal attack, not every normal attack, I should say, but like, for example, if I'm doing a jab, her jab while the opponent is blocking is +1 frame. And if I'm doing her back kick, though, it is -8 frames. Though, which means that if the move whiffs, and what a whiff is, and I'm gonna back up a few, so I don't end up starting or triggering the active frames. And what a whiff is, for again those of you who are new to fighting games, a whiff is when you completely misses a move, which a whiff is not a good thing in any fighting game, though. In any fighting game. In any fighting game, because if you whiff and you're fighting, let's say, and you're in like an online match, CPUs, like if you're fighting an AI, it's I guess it's okay to whiff, though, but depending on well, it depends on the settings of the AI that you set, or depending on the difficulty of the AI that you set the AI to. But if you're fighting against another player, though, like if you want to be like in a tournament, riffing isn't a good thing, though, at all. I mean, like, it is okay sometimes if you riff like a move, though, but I wouldn't get into the habit of missing a lot of moves, especially when it comes to combos, though, because, or in general, though, because if you riff and your opponent is close to you enough, is close enough to hit you, that means that your opponent can punish you. And what punishes are, to put it in a way, what a punish is if let's see if I can, hold on. Yeah, I don't think I can set the AI to, I don't think I can set the AI to punish. So, but anyway, to put it more simply, if I were to do like a, what's the best way to explain it? What's the best way to explain it? I guess, to put it simply, a punish is, what I mean by punish is, I mean practically a parry. If you're like practically parrying your opponent, if that makes sense, though, or countering your opponent's attack. I don't know how to make it any more simpler than what I can explain it to. You should ask someone else to like kind of break it down even further. But for now, to just explain it as much as I can possibly explain it, at least for me, is you practically countering your opponent, though. But it's practically countering your opponent. In some fighting games like Tekken, though, when your opponent is punishing you, or like countering you, or you counter them or punishing them, you can sometimes like punish or counter into a combo, though. So, but anyway, I guess in a way that's all for today's video. I did say I was going to make the video short, though, short in a way, but that's what I wanted to like kind of discuss, like doing some of the challenges on the analog stick with Akuma, and then also explaining some basic fighting game mechanics, though, for people who are new to fighting games in general. So, yeah, this is Akira the Nephilim. Oh, hold on. This is Akira the Nephilim, and I am ending the stream.